Hey there, Growmantlers. Dan from Game Reviews AU here, and I recently got myself a PSVR 2. My goodness, what a piece of equipment. I loved my Oculus when I first got it. I had so much fun, it was mind-blowing, but then I started to suffer from the motion sickness, and it made me turn away from playing it. But now that there's the PSVR 2 with its enhanced visuals, its enhanced everything, I thought I'm gonna dive into this, and I'm glad I did. The first game that I started off with was Resident Evil Village, the VR mode. So that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. Now, Resident Evil Village is an amazing game by itself. It's so cool. The monsters are amazing to see. The gameplay, the puzzle solving, the storyline, the characters. It's just also beautiful. Yeah. Anyway, I reviewed the actual game on PC a while back. Don't know if that was before my channel got deleted or not, but yeah. I had a blast. It was really hard to play, like challenging, but it gave you a really good thrill, and it made you feel awesome about what you were doing. Like, yeah, it made you feel pretty badass. Now, diving into Resident Evil Village in virtual reality, it makes the game feel so much more different. For starters, you have hands. You can punch. You aim the weapon yourself. That is really cool. I'm not really good with aiming with a joystick, but with my hand, yes, great. I can do really well. Moving around in virtual reality is quite taxing on your mind. I was not a fan of it. It made me feel quite motion sick. However, I did manage to play for a good hour or so before feeling the motion sickness kick in. And this is mainly because I was playing the beginning part, where it's very slow, takes you by the hand, that leads the enemies to you in a way that you don't have to move around too quickly. But then when things started to get heated up is when I struggled, and I chose to, instead of just using the joysticks to move around, sitting on the sofa, I chose to stand up and walk on the spot and move my hands, forwards and backwards to pretend that I was walking, so that my brain would kind of be tricked into thinking that what I'm seeing is actually my movement. That's what always sets off the motion sickness for me. The joystick movements, don't like it. But once I did this walking on the spot thing, it made it feel a bit more easy to deal with. But then things got really heated, and the enemies were coming at me en masse, and there was that really big hairy dude with the massive sledgehammer axe thing that chases you, and you've got to run, and you've got to escape, and you've got to stay alive until that bell rings. That was hardcore, and not just because of the motion sickness inducing bit, but because it is very hard to play a game like this with a cable coming out of the side of your head. It's hard to play this and be quick-witted, use good reflexes to see the enemies, to dodge them, to get a good knife blow in, or the shooting, that's easy enough, but being able to face the enemy at the right time and know when someone's behind you and keep moving, it's all quite hard to keep up with in virtual reality. That's what I found. I feel that I did a much better job with the controller. Plus also the lack of motion sickness when you're playing on a TV or a computer screen. So that sadly brought the game to an end for me, because even if I was able to keep up with the gameplay, I would then have to worry about the motion sickness. And even if I was able to get over the motion sickness, I do feel like there will be parts further on in the game that will be so hard to tackle in virtual reality. If it was wireless, like the Oculus, I think that would be okay because you could turn around without worrying about pulling your PlayStation out of the cupboard. So this isn't a review per se. It's more of a just telling you about my experience with Resident Evil Village VR. And the fact that it is super fun, like seeing the monsters up close and all the gruesomeness and everything that happens. It's really confronting, and it gives you that full-on feel of, fear. And that's what the Resident Evil games are all about. It instills fear in you perfectly when immersed in virtual reality. There are some times where you can't get the camera lined up properly, so you'll be like looking directly at Ethan's collar, and you're like, hang on a sec, I should be facing the other way. So you turn around, but then you're like in a really weird, messed up position. So you've got to try and reset the camera. That doesn't work. So you got to move the camera around with the right joystick. Yeah. I feel that Resident Evil Village is much better off non-VR. It's cool to experience and everything, but yeah, non-VR is the way to enjoy the game. 100%. Yeah, so these are my thoughts of Resident Evil Village VR. I hope you enjoyed watching me struggle in this game. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button down below. Remember to subscribe to my channel. And if you do so choose to do so, leave a comment down below. How do you go with VR? Do you get motion sickness? Got any tips for people out there? Myself? And yeah, I've got a Patreon page. Consider pledging a few bucks. Thanks for watching. See you next time.